Today's question is very simple. Is discipline what drives success, or is it how we treat ourselves when we fall short? Let's be honest, most of us are stuck in an internal tug of war. One voice consistently telling us, you need to get yourself together. You need to be more disciplined. You need to stop slacking. Whereas, on the other hand, another voice keeps whispering to us internally, it's okay. You're tired. You need to treat yourself better. But what if this isn't a battle that we are supposed to win? What if this is a balance that we are supposed to build? So, today we're going to talk about discipline and self compassion and learn how we're supposed to merge these things together to create beautiful wholeness. So, let's start with discipline. In today's world, the idea of discipline has been twisted. It's no longer about inner alignment or having a schedule that is working for us. It has been turned into a weapon, a punishment for not being good enough. And that's why you consistently keep hearing things like you're being told you just don't want it enough, or you're being told things like winners do what losers won't, or worse still, you're told that no pain, no gain. But the problem isn't that discipline is bad, it's that it has been made conditional. It has been tied to things like shame, it has been tied to things like perfectionism, to external approval. And in its true essence, discipline is not about punishment as the world tells us, it's about devotion. Devotion to a future you, devotion to something meaningful. And that's why, at its core, discipline is not supposed to feel like self abuse, like it feels most of the time nowadays. It's supposed to feel like commitment. And the beauty of commitment is that commitment does not scream, commitment does not shout, commitment simply stays. And now let's talk about self compassion. This word makes a lot of people flinch because self compassion sounds like weakness, it sounds like softness, it sounds like letting your guard down. But here's what most people miss about self compassion. Self compassion is not about removing effort, it's about removing cruelty. It's saying to yourself, I can make a mistake and not be the mistake. Or saying to yourself, I can rest and not abandon myself. Or saying to yourself that I can sleep without collapsing. And that there is what true strength sounds like. And if you disagree, your conceptualization of strength is probably flawed, because strength is about embracing both extremes and bringing them to a middle ground. It's about learning discipline and learning self compassion and letting both things work together. But here's the real danger: when you choose one and reject the other. For instance, if you choose to live in discipline without compassion, you are going to burn out. Yes, you might get success, but that success is going to be joyless, brittle, and unsustainable, because you'll always feel like you're one mistake away from losing it all. But on the other hand, if you choose to live in self compassion without discipline, you'll stall. You'll end up in an endless cycle of becoming very forgiving of yourself without any substantive movement. And without the pressure that creates diamonds, you'll never be able to grow into the person that you know you are capable of becoming. So the question becomes, how do we bring both of these facets together? It starts by changing the tone of your inner dialogue. Instead of telling yourself things like, I am lazy if I rest, or telling yourself that I am weak if I feel overwhelmed, or telling yourself that I am a failure if I sleep, you can now change the tone of that dialogue within and start telling yourself that rest is an integral part of the rhythm of high performance, or me feeling overwhelmed is a signal that I ought to simplify my tasks as opposed to shaming myself, or better still, telling yourself that when I sleep, it's a sign that is helping me learn where the cracks are and how I should be able to deal with them. This here is what we call mature self leadership, not revolving between the harsh coach and a coddling parent, but actively growing into that wise and grounded guide that your inner self actually needs. So try this the next time you feel like you've failed yourself or you've not kept a promise you've made to yourself. Pause. Instead of reacting with shame and denial, ask yourself the following questions. What was I feeling in that exact moment? And how should I handle that feeling with remorse and carefulness? And secondly, what part of me needed support instead of judgment? And third, and more crucially, what would the future me say to me at that very moment, gently but very carefully? This is the tone with which systems that last are built upon. Because systems built upon shame collapse, and systems built upon self respect, they evolve. So, no, you don't need to become more disciplined, and no, you definitely don't need to become more forgiving of yourself. You need to create and cultivate a relationship that honors both your vision and your humanity, because it is in that space that consistency is built and consistency thrives, not in punishment, not in permission, but in partnership with yourself. If this has landed, take a moment to breathe. There's no need to comment right now. Just feel what this video has stirred within you. And if you're ready for more content like this, be sure to subscribe, and I'll guide you and help you grow your inner man one video at a time. Adios.